Okay, this is once again, for a second time tonight, recording to the cloud from my basement with my bookshelf for the first time ever. I'm usually
Hey.
up 2 flights of stairs or 1 flight of stairs. I'm now down in my man cave down here, uh, as you all can maybe see. And my home office is down over the hallway here. Anyways, this is September 22nd, 2025 in the USA. For people who are coming to us from Korea, like Sung-hee is, from China, like Randy is, and Jing is, and Alicia is, and at least one more, Yan was earlier. It is tomorrow at the same time, 9:15, 9:20 or so in Taiwan as well. With Kenzen Chen is coming to us from Taiwan,
Hey.
and he is going to talk to us about why he became a hero. He he's a hero for a lot of people in Taiwan in their open and online education. He's at National Yangmin Chao Dong
Point
University.
University.
Yeah, he's associate professor at the Institute of Education at National Yangmin Chao Dong University starting in 2015. He was in the USA. I think he worked at Boise State, if I'm not mistaken, for a bit as a
Yeah,
designer
and
and research
study in
analyst.
Illinois.
And also, importantly, he was at Illinois, which is very important this week for Indiana people because we beat their football team 63-10, but we won't talk about how badly we beat them. We never win at football here at Indiana, but for a change.
For
Anyway,
Illinois, it's the same.
Illinois is the same. He completed his PhD in 2012. He got his applied statistics master's there in 2010. He's got like 20 degrees from what I can see here. And starting 2016, he was collaborating on MOOCs for Chinese speaking learners, and they were very successful. And that led him on the road to doing more and more kinds of things that he'll talk about here in a little bit. There's something called the EWANT Open Education Platform. So maybe, Kenzen, could you tell us a bit more about your journey that led you where you got? This is a course on learning environment design. So we want to know, how did you design these MOOCs and open education to be successful? How come you were so successful when many others were not? And I assume the government found out, and that's why you got this new job uh, and funding, to work in the Hero Center. So tell us about your road. Tell us a bit about Hero, and you're going to present something after that, but and then we'll ask you some questions.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. And thanks, Kurt, for introduction. And I think the talk is not about me, but about you, because I believe many of you will become the instructional designers and maybe work in the university, higher education sectors, or the corporate training. And mass open online courses is one of the form that we offer the education to many people. So for here, I'd like to introduce, to briefly share with you one of the Taiwan's most valuable resources. It is not just a silicon and semiconductors, but I would say a talent that drive our country and industry forward. So
Kenzen,
yeah,
interrupt.
yes.
So in part one, before you arrived, I convinced them that they're not going to be instructional designers. They're going to be flexible learning consultants.
Oh, that would be even better. Yeah,
And I
yeah, yeah,
also
yeah.
must say that Kenzen organized my trip to Taiwan in June. So I have to give him a big round of applause and a thank you once again. He did create a fabulous trip and a wonderful time in Taiwan on the way home from Thailand, no less. So thank you for that once again. I'm indebted to you and indebted to you for coming tonight for our class. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Kurt. And I would like to invite you back to Taiwan again 100 times, if you will. Yeah, so my name is Kenzen, and I'm an associate professor in e-learning at National Yangmin Jiaotong Universities, and right now I serve as an associate director of the Hero Center, and you will know the abbreviation later. Oh well, HERO, so we stand for Higher Education Resources for Openness. So our mission is to unlock the doors for everyone for the education. And to give you a heads up, first of all, let's talk about the location of my institution. Our university, abbreviated as NYCU, is not just a campus. It's in the heart of the powerful high-tech ecosystem. As you can see from the map, we are strategically located right next to the world-renowned we call Central Science Park, and it's a home to 600 semiconductor companies and more than 7 and the National Center for High Performance Computing. So this unique proximity fuels a vibrant synergy of the industry academia cooperation. So we can align our curriculum with the industry needs and provide incredible internship opportunities and accelerate technology transfer. And who powers this innovation engine, the science park? In fact, it is NYCU, and my institution has about 1,400 faculty members, and among them, approximately about 200 faculty members are dedicated to semiconductor research and education. And incidentally, I'm not one of them. And in my institution, there are about 20,000 students, and 1/10 of them are passionate majors in semiconductors and shaping the future of the technology. So that's the institution that I'm serving. And for NYCU, our commitment is not new. In fact, NYCU has been a pioneer since the very beginning, and we have a rich legacy of semiconductor first in Taiwan. So take a look at the picture on the right, and it is not every day you can see like an ox with a computer. And it is way back to 1963 when we bought the first IBM vacuum tube computer to Taiwan. And at that time, the engineer said it is very fragile, so you're not allowed to use the truck to bring it from the port to NYCU. It is about about 100 miles away. So we just use an ox to put it on a cart and then bring it to my institution. And the same year, and we demonstrate the first like point contact transistors, and from establish the first semiconductor lab in 1964 to fabricating the first integrated circuit in 1966, and then we launched the first College of Semiconductor Research in 2015. And we've always been leading the charge, and right now we are cloning another semiconductor ecosystem back to the US, specifically in the Phoenix, Arizona. I believe many of you know the news. And our legacy is best seen through our alumni. So it is often said that NYCU is the cradle of Taiwan's high-tech industry leaders. And it's not exaggeration because an incredible 65% of the CEOs and top-level managers in the Central Science Park are proud NYCU alumni. And you may know the person in the second row, right? He's Dr. C.C. Wei, the CEO of TSMC, and who just met the President Xi last March. And their success stories start right here and on our campus. But NYCU's impact goes far beyond the tech industry. My passion is to leverage online technology to unlock human potential. So let me share a true inspiring story. And this is Nanny Churum. And because she missed her chance to go to college in her youth, and she discovered E1 in 2015. So it's about 10 years. And now in her 90s, she is a tireless learner who has earned over 220 course certificates. And her curiosity is boundless, and taking everything from like food safety to quantum physics. And she has become a beloved member of our community, even meeting her instructor in person. So her story is a beautiful testament to power the lifelong learning. And her dedication is truly inspiring. So she received a lifetime learning award and even shares her personal work like this sketches with university vice president. So Nanny Churong embodies her passion to knowledge that we aim to foster across Taiwan. And at our 10th anniversary celebration, she was an honored guest, personally meeting the MOOCs instructors, and she had learned so much from. And her journey is so profound that a life history study about her experience with online learning is currently underway. And Yuan is also a critical platform for the next generation. So let me introduce to student Jiaqi and Shouji. Jiaqi from a seashore family with limited resources and used Yuan to find his motivation and eventually winning the prestigious 2023 Presidential Education Award. And Shouji, also from the economic disadvantaged family background, and discovered Yuan on the school bulletin board and won our university's Striding Upward Award. These are not just a few feeling good stories. They are examples of talent cultivation. So Shouji is now pursuing both biomedical and the double E degrees, and his own work by offering open courses to low-income household, Yuan enables my self-learning despite limited resources. So for me, the stories like theirs are the passion that fuels our work at Yuan.
So
So
Kenzen,
yes.
I do love the ox story. Actually, and I love the person in the 90s learning and continuing to learn, because that was the theme, part of the theme of the last hour was lifelong learning. And
Yes.
that's not an unusual story. There are many such, there probably are millions of such stories, but it's exciting that you actually know her, I assume, and
Yes, I
have met
do.
her, and yeah, that's very exciting. I'd love to interview her for my next book, but I'll get back to you on that. But there was someone in Taiwan she was taking MIT Open Courseware courses,
Yes,
and she was
exactly.
taking so many and doing so
Hmm.
well. She was invited to a summer camp at MIT,
Yeah, yeah.
and did so well. She got admitted into MIT.
Wow.
So yeah, I
Wow,
highlighted
that's
her in
like
one of my.
great.
I don't forgot her. I could find. I could look it up and find it. But yeah, she was just. It happened. It's happened to several people like that. Their lives just totally changed by first browsing and then get
Yeah.
engaged in it, and then just going. Getting certain opportunities just come your way. Anyways, I don't mean to interrupt, but I can definitely see what you're getting at here. So thank you for that.
Yeah. I'm also, I was benefited by MIT open course as well for
Oh,
about 2 decades ago because when I studied the linear algebra, it was too difficult for me, but somehow I could find an instructor from MIT open courseware that his lecture is something that I could understand so that I can help myself. So indeed, that's for sure. And
mm.
I do appreciate the relationship between like Taiwan and US. So like the IBM vacuum computer, it was a starting point like 70 years ago, and right now we continue the collaborations, and we will work more and more closely, I believe. Mhm. So let's go back to this one. I'll say so. Our work, the MOOCs, is driven by the Hero Center, so Research Center for Higher Education Resources and Openness. And we are constantly engaged in research and development to improve the online education. Yeah. So we have more than 600 college professors. So it's around Taiwan. So it's not only from the NYCU. We work with about 100 higher education institutions. So they are good guys. They are willing to open their knowledge with Taiwan or the world, and their contribution are phenomenal. So what are the scale of the impact? So let's look at the numbers. So we have about like 670,000 enrollments and have delivered more than 10 and 13,000 courses. And we partner with about 100 higher education institutions and scholarly organizations such as National Palace Museum. And we work with more than 200 senior high schools. And importantly, we have provided financial support to over 2,000 disadvantaged students to ensure their access to the opportunity. And the learning never stops. So our platform has already issued more than 50,000 certificates to dedicated learners like many children. And these are not just numbers because they represent countless stories of growth and empowerment. Also, our university partnership are extended and extensive, and 15 of the 18 Taiwanese universities listed in the U.S. News Best Universities ranked offer the course you want, and we cover like about 800,000 students, so which is nearly 75% of the total college enrollment in Taiwan. And our reach also extended it to the pre-university level. So we partner with 200 high school students, like I said, it is reaching about 150,000 students. And we have a strong presence across the region of Taiwan, including 28 officially designated remote schools. We provide free education materials to them. Mhm. So for our learners, the breakdown is quite telling. About half of they are K-16 students due to the change of our curriculum guidelines, and the other half are general lifelong learners. So this shows we serve two critical functions, preparing the future workforce and upskilling the current one. So what are they learning? So this is where it gets very relevant for for the tech industry. So for high schoolers, and the number one course category they choose is computer science. It is not not surprising. And for open courses to the general public, the top category is the basic sciences. We are without doubt a primary platform of STEAM education in Taiwan. And beyond the course in subjects, our most popular interest-based course shows a focus on the innovation and modern skills. So they include the courses on AI, entrepreneurship, and even VR anatomy. So this signals that our learners are actively seeking out forward-thinking and technology advanced subjects. And our platform is also a trusted sources for professional development. So we collaborate with the Civil Service Development Institute. So integrate about 300 of our courses into their official learning platform for government employees and teachers. And this demonstrates the quality of credibility of our content. And now for something that might surprise you, we also have a small but dedicated corporate learning institutes. So we provide the custom-made training programs and MOOCs for the internal staff development for some of Taiwan leading technology companies, including TSMC and USI, Wafer, Advantech, and so on. And we are already a partner in talent development for the tech sector. We also leverage our expertise to support others. We build a Taiwan-like platform for the National Open University and develop their mobile app, allowing for co-sharing between their lifelong learners and E1 ecosystem. So this creates an even larger interconnected network for learners. So, and what is the E1 ecosystem? And we provide like advanced placement AP course and self-directed learning courses for high school students. We have built a MOOC platform that is accessible to high school across the nation, and we facilitate credit exchanges for general education courses. And we are deeply integrated to Taiwan's educational infrastructure. And our commitment to open education does not stop when a course is completed. And we believe in extending the life and impact of our contents through the reuse and outreach. So that means whenever we complete a course offering, we offer it to general public, we offer it to corporate training or public service training. We also change a little bit and share with the high school learners. So therefore, everybody would have opportunities to use the course. So, and for example, here we provide the introduction to medicine and principles to semiconductors. These two courses are the key initiative of our, we call the U-Pool program and university high school collaboration on online learning. And because for high schools, they want their students to get in touch with the advanced or prospect technology or prospect jobs, but they are not able to just create the course on their own. So we need to collaborate with universities and corporate and high school teachers to offer the course online and have the course content be grounded to the high school based on their needs. Yeah. So for example, for the principles for and manufacturing of semiconductors, we are actively introducing the next generation to the foundation. And there are about 100 classes using the course as course electives in senior high schools each semester. And we also believe Taiwan's story is worth sharing. So we bring out our expertise to the world through academic publishing and international platforms. So we develop courses and books titled like the Silicon Island, A Blessing or a Disguise, and which explores the intersection of semiconductors and geopolitics. We also publish a book through Springer talking about the development of MOOCs in the Chinese-speaking regions, such as China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Macau. And through the Future Learn platform, that is the third largest English-speaking MOOCs platform, we also actively showcase our work in the platform. So yeah, and one of our through this collaboration in Future Learn, we have about 50,000 learners from around the world that they have joined the NYCU courses. And we also extend our support to students closer to our home in an online way, because recognizing that students on like outlying islands and in overseas Taiwanese school are incredibly proactive. And they are proactive in using online resources that are connecting back to Taiwan. So we extended our support completely free of charge. And so
Kenzen?
yes.
So you've got 5 at least audiences. You got college students in Taiwan, high school students, 15,000 in Taiwan, 800,000 college students in Taiwan, older adults, lifelong learning, expats who are in other countries, and also people from other countries.
Yes, who will be able to speaking Mandarin Chinese.
Who know the language. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that will only increase with AI translating everything. So, but
oh yeah. So the language barrier will no longer be a problem. But in the past years, we do create a few English-speaking courses strategically to the Future Learn platform. So last year, so we kind of provide like semiconductor courses and even some like legal issues for semiconductor engineers, that kind of related courses in English. And we also have some other institution like they provide like Chinese medicine courses. Yeah, but that's not from NYCU. So we kind of building up English speaking MOOCs strategically. But most of the courses in E1 platform are offered in Mandarin Chinese. So not only people, the overseas people who could use the platform, there are many overseas Chinese immigrants, such as people in Malaysia. They have the private Chinese senior high schools. They also use our E1 platform courses as well. Yeah. And everything we do is built on a foundation of academic research. And so we welcome MOOC instructors to study their course, they're teaching their students through our platform. So we have become a rich field of study for research exploring online learning. So here is just a part of the list who study who publish their studies using E1 as their field of study. So many of them are published in the prestigious international journals like the Asia Pacific Educational Researcher and the IRROBO. I believe you know that. Mhm. And by the ultimate measure of our success is the quality of our course. And I'm incredibly proud to say that our courses are consistently recognized for their excellence. We have been honored with multiple open course excellence awards in Taiwan. And the courses like autonomous teaching and learn how to learn and caring for your child's health and brain behavior and dentistry are just a few of the popular courses, and they are also award-winning courses. Mm. And for E1, our mission is to empower MOOC learners and educate them nationwide. So, for example, we also hosted the Taiwan Online Learning Summit about bi-yearly, so featuring the global leaders in education like Professor Barbara Oakley. So she just visited Taiwan a month ago. So we believe in crafting a great educational experience with faculty members and with teachers. And E1 is here to support the journey for teachers and students all the way. So that's my short introduction. Thank you.
So Barbara Oakley, you mentioned, she's
Yes.
very famous for teaching a MOOC about how to learn or something like that. And you've got a paper with her on memory or something like that, I think.
Yes, I can share in the text chat in a minute.
Yeah. She's at Oakland University in Michigan and has one of the highest enrollments and most popular on learning how to learn or
I believe around 7 million students,
Yeah.
since 2012.
I think she's got a military background before she got into this, like in the Navy
Yeah.
or something. I've got a couple Coast Guard people in this class. That's why I mentioned that. So this is before I open up this to the participant questions. This is a course on learning environment design. And I kind of indicated I would ask this question. For you, in someone who's designed MOOCs now and have all these thousands of people and tens of thousands of people and hundreds of thousands of people, depending upon the audience, it's a little smaller at the high school level, but still 15,000, that's a lot. So you're designing for many people. You're not just designing for a classroom of 25 people, 40 people. What are effective principles of learning that you embed in those environments? How do you design effective and engaging learning environments? How would you define it? How does it get implemented? And when you see it, how do you know it's happening? How do you recognize that it's an effective learning environment? How do you know it's a high quality course out there, whereas some might not be designed in a quality way? And by the way, a subset of questions. Are you supervising people developing courses?
Yes, we do. So in E1, we have about 20 instructional designers, and they are the key because, for me, I was not able to understand all the courses that offered by every institutions, right? So it requires, even though we have generated AI now, but you still need humans to consult with faculty members to understand the course, to gather the feedback from the student, and knows who are the good course that we can expand their impact. So we are important. The learning designers are still important.
So every course that goes up in Hero is designed at your center, or they come pre-designed?
That would depends on the capacity of the institution. So, and for a few institutions, they have their own studio, their development capacity. What we do is mostly like a quality assurance. But for like a junior faculty who are it is their first class to teach online, that we will devote more resources to help him or help her to get in the correct way.
Okay. So we need to open up for student questions. I know you need to leave shortly, and Wendy's going to take your place. But can you go into the principles that for you are effective learning principles? What do you look for in an effective course?
Well, that is a huge question. Yeah. For me, if we are talking about the asynchronous course, because for MOOCs, that's mostly the first medium that we are going to in touch with the students. So I think my major focus will be on the quality of the lecture video. So such as the eye contact, such as the delivery of the information. That is something I will really be focused on, because that is the major way you will engage your student in your course. Yeah, it's talking about the learning design. That will be the most important thing that I would focus on as an instructional designer. But right now, because I kind of oversee the platform, so I need to, there are some other concerns that I need to bring into my consideration, right? Such as whether the course will get a high outreach, are they that they're really interested, that kind of thing.
Eli has a question for you. Eli.
Oh yes, yeah, really interesting.
Let's him pop his camera up here. Eli, are you with us?
Yeah, so I was just kind of wondering, yeah, basically, like, I know you kind of touch on it a little bit, but just kind of like how much AI has changed what you do in the last couple of years. Because obviously, like, from a student, I know it's like, it's almost now like for little things, you kind of just plug it in and it can kind of do it for you. And obviously it's not accurate when you do that. But just kind of like what you do, like, how would you say AI has changed what you do over the last couple of years, or maybe the last year? Like, what's one of the biggest things you've noticed it's changed?
Yeah. Thanks, Ellie. That's a good question. I think the question can be divided into two parts. So how can we support students and how can we support instructors? And many literature or the experiment are focusing on supporting students. So we will see the AI tutor, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
We are also doing this because you are able to, upload all your course content and transcript as a RAG. So, and does everybody know this? It's like a library. So we ask the large language models to consult with the library, the specific course library first, and then if you couldn't find any question, you would allow to use your own knowledge to answer the student. So that's the functionality of the RAG. So that is the AI tutor who could help the student, because when students they are online, they want their instructor to always present. So but that's not impossible. So that's the student side. And the other part is what I'm more I would like to put more focus on is how can we use the generative AI to help course development. So that means helping the instructional designer and helping the instructors, because we are a lot, like, we know that in the course production process, we need to fill in thousands of tables, print project management, that kind of stuff. And we know it is a necessary evil, but it consumes our time. So we are figuring out how this generative AI could help to kind of ease instructional designers' work. And we're still working on it because it's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else want to jump in on AI? I have a follow-up question for you, but I think Gulton would like to go first. Gulton.
First of all, I would like to congratulate you for carrying out such a comprehensive, large-scale, and highly participatory project. Sometimes, even if projects are well designed with quality content, methods, and assessments, they may not reach the targeted enrollment rate, or the dropout level may increase during the process. You mentioned that participation in the courses is high. I have three questions. First is, in your opinion, what are the most important factors that encourage high participation? My other question is about the certificates obtained at the end of the course. I'm curious about the acceptability of the certificates obtained at the end of the course in some areas, such as education or professional life. For example, can students take advantages of these courses for enrollment or admission to another university or for job applications? My last question is, to what extent does your current education system encourage students or participants to join and use this MOOCs platform? Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so you have 3 questions and I try to answer. So the first one you are asking how successful they are. And from my experience, I would say to make a course successful to a general audience, you kind of fail 9 times. So the success rate is 1/10. So even though I'm talking about the kind of the accomplishment we have, but we still have a lot of courses that are not that successful, or it's not successful in the first offering. So such as we thought the course is great. For example, we have an English medium course, because in Taiwan the government require all the schools from K to 12. And they will use English as the instructional language by 2030. So everybody was insane until now. So we're thinking about how can we help the student. For example, if we can have the students to use online as a medium of have the first exposure of English speaking classrooms, because when you study in classroom that the instructional language is your foreign language, it would be very, very challenging for you to do it either face-to-face or synchronously, because your thought just couldn't catch up what's happening in the classroom. But in the asynchronous environment, that should be more, you're more comfortable to reply. So in that sense, we are kind of develop a program that we facilitate high school students to learn in like Coursera or edX. And at the same time, you want to provide like a self-regulated learning scaffold and the English learning scaffold from the instructors. So we kind of put 2 together to facilitate the student who they can have the first successful experience learning in a purely English speaking environment. But however, no student wants to come. So we are kind of trying in many ways to like work with educational administrations, work with school leaders to figure out who are the students in need, and then find and grab them to our classrooms. So it really requires several iterations. If you believe the course is good, but it doesn't turn out well, you need to figure out the reason and try several times. And probably you will be able to find the correct way. So that's the first thing.
Before you answer second and third, I want to jump in and just ask you, I know you're going to leave pretty soon here. To get a job like you've got, you didn't train for this. So you are an associate director of higher education resources for openness. How does one get a job like that?
Well, it is part of the job in the university. So as a professor, you need to serve. So it is not a secret. And actually, I was trained as an instructional designer. So I have like the training from like Quality Matters previously, decades ago. So I kind of knowing how to create the online courses. But in a university, your major responsibility is to publish. So working on the Hero Center is kind of part of my I would like to help everybody. So.
It helps you publish by being in that center, I see.
Okay,
and
yes.
Also, it's a center for your university. So
yes.
what's happened with many people, they get hired to do another job at their own university. I want to go to Corinne's question, because it's my question as well. Corinne asks, what are the most important instructional and learning design principles that educators should keep in mind when integrating AI tools like ChatGPT into their courses? If you don't want to answer that, I'll ask her. Second one is, if you could redesign OpenAI's learning support system today, what would you change or add to make it more effective for learners and educators? And Wendy's with us. Thank you.
Okay, so I can answer this 2 very quickly. So first one, Barbara Oakley has a course recently made it available through Coursera, and she just talked about the learning with ChatGPT and AI. So go to check it out. It's a 3-week course, very short. And the second question is if we would like to use AI as a learning facilitator to our student, we need to have a pre-prompt. So that means we need to make AIs the AIs can diagnose what student does not know. And the second thing is we need to pre-prompt the AI not to tell the student the answers at the very, at the very beginning, because we in the neurosciences, the real learning happens in if you couldn't predict what is happening, and then your dopamine will sprout, you're fired. So if you develop a habit that you just wait wait that AI will give you the answer very quick, you don't really think about it like in 5 seconds or so, the learning will not happen. Sorry, I just
I know we only have him for 5 more minutes before he has to leave, so I'm going to go to Arpita. Go ahead.
Yes,
real quick, Corinne.
Yeah, just a follow-up for the first question. Thank you for redictoring to your course. Can you give you can give the link to Dr. Bank, and they will share with us, and I'm happy to look at it.
Sure,
but at the top of your mind, if you know the course, you know the content, if you have to answer that learning design principle, what is the top learning design principle that come to mind? One of them, just to answer on the spot.
Well, neuroscience. So how brains learn, I would say that is the most important thing, because we are not trained with that tradition, and it is very, very far away from us. You are not kind of purposefully ask yourself to study. You will not know the principle. And if you started to get in touch with the neuroscience findings the past 20 years, you will have a sense that, there are many educational traditions that are questionable. Yeah, so that's my answer.
And then for question 2, thanks for answering the question as a pre-prompt, but as a follow-up of that, what kind of pre-prompt or scaffold will be most effective to support learner at different levels?
Wow, that's another big question. So I think that is because many of the educate, or many the AIs that are repurposed for education that is out there for instructors, because it really requires a lot of knowledge about how the large language models is interacting with you before you can design an effective pre-prompt.
So
And there is a prompt market. I believe you can look for that, because people are sharing good prompts.
Arpita has a neuroscience question. Arpita, and then we'll go to Golden, and then we'll let you leave.
Okay, how do you see neuroscience?
So Arpita, you want to ask your question?
Okay.
Go let's have her voice it. Go ahead, Arpita.
Hi, thank you for the great presentation. I was just wondering that how do you know that your design is, working or not? And I heard something about eye contact. So I was just wondering if you have like a student who's neurodivergent, maybe has autism.
Yes.
So how do you know if eye contact is a rubric? So how would you engage students who are neurodivergent, and ensuring that whatever is the design, the learner is actually engaged in learning and actually learning. So that's my question.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Arpita. And there's a course called Common Sense Teaching, so you can go to Coursera and look up how Barbara talked about that. But the answer I would like to give you is, firstly, you need to care about the memory, the working memory capacity for learners, because we only have a very small amount of the working memory capacity, like we can remember or work on 3 to 4 things at the same time. So that is the limitation, that when we design our our lecture videos, our course or activities. That is something that is really, really important.
So Galton, add two more questions. Which one do you want to which one do you want to jump in on? I know you need to leave after. Just
yes, and I would say we use the asynchronous learning materials as the foundation, and we can develop many activities like a fence gathering, right? So it will be face to face. We can have like a online student orientation, like in the synchronous. So as long as you have the asynchronous materials, you can play the magic. Yeah.
Does anyone else? Go ahead.
Yeah, if you have questions, just send me the email.
Yeah. Does anyone else have a final comment for Kenzen?
I don't know if I have comment, but I have so much question. But maybe I can keep this question in your pocket, and then you can give it an answer later. If it's there is you talk about working memory and neuroscience. So then, what comes into my mind is the book of Salva Kaluiga, who was and then Jan Plas.
Jan Plas will be a keynote at my eLearn conference in a few weeks, and I'm happy to ask him any questions. He was a guest last year in my class. Yeah.
Yeah, it was there, and he just published a book that was released. Oh my God, which day we are? This week, like this about 3 days ago. And then he basically talked about a new way of reframing cognitive load theory in the world of what we are now in AI. Well, I haven't finished to read the book, so it just get published. But you talk about working memory and you talk about neuroscience, and all of those. So I'm sure you're an expert the way that you talk. So, in the world of like learning and AI, and how the new generation is, acquiring knowledge and generating knowledge, do you see any change in learning design about, retention of knowledge for our new type of learner?
I believe the modalities changes over time, but since the evolution of our brain would not change that fast, so I think that's the groundings we are always that's the starting point, and that's the grounding we are always sticking to. Yeah, I've already shared the paper that Barbara and I and Yulo and Terry Sanowski wrote about the memory paradox. And so you can download feel free to download it if you are interested, and just shoot me the email to Kurt or to myself for further questions. And I'm so happy to have the opportunity to talk with you guys, and hope to visit Bloomington, Indiana someday.
Yeah, I've got that paper. I've assigned it to the other class. I think it's in my 511 syllabus. Maybe it's in this syllabus. I'll have to look. I want to thank Kenzen for coming today. It's morning in Taiwan. It's evening here in USA. Let's give him a big round of applause for and maybe we can all wave goodbye before Wendy takes over. We'll take a quick screenshot. Thank you. 1, 2, 3.
Yay.
Thank you. I appreciate your time here tonight.
Yeah, thanks, Kurt.
Thank you. I hope to visit you guys again. Thank you very much. So send me stuff on email and I'll forward it to the class. Wendy, you want to tell us your role in the Hero Center and in terms of the open education resources and MOOCs and anything else, or anything else you're doing. You're a postdoc, so you want to tell us a little of your history. Where did you get your PhD at and your master's? And what did you study for? What was your dissertation on? And then what are you currently doing?
Okay, thank you, Professor. And hi, everyone. Thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity. At the same time, testing the volume. Can you all hear me well and clearly enough? Good. So I suppose I have a real quick 10 minutes giving you updates on my current role in here. Okay, I know it's pretty late there, but my role, currently, I'm still part of the E1 team. Professor Kenzen just mentioned this E1, the projects, a lot of them coming from this learning platform. At the same time, I finished my PhD just a year ago. Then following that, I got 7 months working as a postdoc at the same university where Professor Kenzen teaches. Then I moved to Central Taiwan to start my first year as an assistant professor in the language center. Here we call it Center for Language Studies, trying to provide different tracks of thinking and even teaching language. So the way I embed or incorporate open learning into where I teach or how I teach will be opening up or bringing at least the open resources to students. So following what I just did on E1 and now I'm still doing, I'm hoping of introducing courses, global massive open online courses to my students, which at this point I found pretty challenging because now they are not even reaching this very basic awareness level. I remember the first time I talked about open courses such as Future Learn courses, Coursera courses, a very small part of them heard about that, but just that they know the existence of that, but not really thinking of incorporating any part of that into their learning track, which is can be a kind of pity because the open resources are always there. So now I'm thinking of turning these resources, a small part of that, at least we have a starting point on doing it, into their practical educational practices. So right now here in Taiwan, we have this university semester up to like 16 weeks. And we are opening up the last 2 weeks because we used to have 18 weeks. And now we are thinking of opening up the very last 2 weeks for students to conduct their alternative learning. So at the very beginning of the semester, they can start working on how they are going to make use of the very last 2 weeks of the semester. And these are open opportunities for teachers as well to rethink about their design. So that'll be why at the center here, I'm working pretty hard to introduce these open resources to both teachers and students so that they can be opening up the opportunities to themselves, teachers, and to students. So step by step, we are thinking of getting them to work on those short term courses so that at least they know about how to use the material. They're also building up some sense of achievement, like they're able to complete courses. Though we learn from past experiences that procrastination can be some kind of, global phenomenon, but at least they can begin with some short-term practice to know and to start using the kind of open materials. But right now we got the biggest challenge that will be how we introduce the open resources at the same time as full English taught, a big part of that. But here in Taiwan, we are actually using English as our foreign language, not really like a second language, not to mention mother tongue. So on E1, we've opened up this project. This is our 4th year or like 4th iteration of doing it as part of my research work using DBR, design-based research. We are working on, continuously refining the way we open up the support or scaffold to students who are thinking of using open courses taught in full English, but they have very limited language ability. So the way we design the scaffolding E1 courses, I remember the first year, the first iteration, me, Anna, Jill, Professor Kenzen, we were talking about the possibility, feasibility of this kind of supporting scaffolding MOOC courses. We got the idea challenge in a way like, what's the whole point of giving students the kind of support? They can just go online onto Future Learn, onto Coursera, and they can have everything translated on their own. But I think right now we are entering our 4th iterations because we do know the existing need coming from students to help them step by step, which is actually the spirit of, scaffold. So like step by step, adopting this systematic approach and for them to form a habit of self-regulation, like learning, following this pattern, like they anticipate, they start to act on it, they reflect on whatever they're doing there, and then they start a new cycle of learning or a new cycle of improvement. So I remember while Professor Kenzen was ending in the Q&A session, he mentioned prompt and prompting. I think to me, in our scaffolding E1 courses, either targeting Future Learn or targeting Coursera courses, we also have to take into consideration the prompting in not just language part, the content part, but the metacognition part, like they have to think beyond everything to check on how they are truly taking in all the materials coming from the Future Learn course or the Coursera course to form this ongoing cyclical reflective habit, or like this progression at least. So another question that gets me to think on the reflection will be how we check whether or not they're truly taking in things. That'll be, we teachers, we need to stop, be it we give courses through E1 to provide support, or the course directly coming from Coursera. Always they're giving students the output opportunity, even the opportunity to reflect or to create their own contents. That will be a very important interactive moment for them to interact with the content, interact with the class, interact with the teacher, and interact with themselves. So following this DBR pattern, I'm hoping I get to enter maybe my 5th iteration, 6th iteration, and I'm hoping to see this better refinement or better version of scaffolding courses coming from E1, so that we get to truly introduce, but following a very systematic approach, those kind of online materials to students here in Taiwan, because the big challenge is still there. And we can even take this as a kind of dual challenge, language challenge, content challenge. And good thing is that AI is in here to help. So we can be incorporating AI technology to help them with the prompting part, language-wise, content-wise, and definitely metacognition-wise, to make this self-regulated learning in a digital learning environment more possible and feasible. So basically, this is what I'm working on at the moment. Thank you for making the time. Thank you so much.
Well, so I put her full name there in the chat window. Is Wendy Chang. Chang, am I saying that right? Chang?
Yes.
Okay. So I asked Kenzen what got him the job. And I was going to ask you what you plan to do next, but I'll ask you the question I asked him in a way. Were you planning to were you interested in open education before you started graduate school, or is it something that became part of who you are as you were studying as a student? And what do you hope to do with it when does your postdoc end, and can you stay there longer, or are you going to go somewhere else?
You mean in the E1 the center there?
Yeah.
We are allowed to work part-time there so that we can be incorporating those E1 resources into where I'm teaching at the moment. So it's not really like I can only work on only one single place, and which is what I like about that, because I get to combine the resources island-wide, like here in Taiwan, nationwide. And I think this is gonna be best for students in here, because for DBR, we're thinking of making refinements. And when we have the widened access to resources, I think, yeah, that's going to be even more powerful in the way I do DBR. I'm not so sure if I'm answering Professor's question, but yes, open education, I'm hoping of taking it to the real practical side, because we used to tell students only, saying, here we've got quite a big collection of open resources, try this, try that. Then we realized that we need to show them a systematic approach to, checking those contents. Then we talk about open educational practices. And now on my level, maybe I can take this to a different part that will be open services, where I can incorporate this into my LMS system. I can make the whole thing more workable on a larger scale. But I'm still working on that. So yes, open education has long been a big part of my life, but that got started at the very beginning was the moment I saw YouTube clips here, there, everywhere. They were giving EMI teachers some preparation or preparatory courses. And I was thinking, wow, they were everywhere. So can I find a way of connecting all the ideas together? So I wrote to Professor Kenzen saying, is there any possible way for me to organize everything together legally and invite students here, teachers here in Taiwan to try these EMI resources? And Professor Kenzen was saying, oh, you could not just do this in a way like, okay, come and learn from me, because always we can never beat, very entertaining YouTubers, right? They're really good at that. So we come up with that E1 as support idea to open the course up to all the teachers island-wide. Another way of doing that. But I think I find my passion there, and I'm still gonna stick to that because I like the open spirit there. So sharing this with you.
Yeah, and I noticed you're affiliated with a couple other universities, so you must be teaching for a couple of places and getting experience doing that while being a postdoc where
Yes.
you got your doctorate. So Corinne has the same question I had that we asked also of your Professor Kenzen Chen about the instructional and learning design principles that educators should keep in mind when integrating AI tools like ChatGPT into their courses. And what are just as a whole in the Hero list of courses, do you see any specific instructional design and learning principles in those courses, and what are they?
The way we design our supporting E1 course to guide students to complete Future Learn or any other global MOOC courses, we were literally practicing the idea of reciprocal interplay in between learners, right, and their behavior and the entire environment. So if we're talking about any design principle there, one, we are definitely encouraging an ongoing learning cycle of improvement. But this improvement cycle or like cyclical progression definitely needs to be built within that, that pyramid I just mentioned, or this, these three important pillars in building a healthy and living. I will call it a ecosystem, but at least we get students to feel that this is a living cycle or living ecosystem. They get to voice out what they actually need. So we encourage a lot of their own reflection by either asking them to make video recordings, audio recordings, or like simply write them down to try multimodalities, which is another big part of AI right now, we know very well. So we are opening up opportunities to them for them to stay creative and reflective. And I'll say this is a very important manifestation of the design principle we're applying in here. Okay.
So we haven't heard from several people yet tonight, and Wing is smiling throughout, and I wonder if she has a question, or Jing, or Melissa, or Rebecca, or Randy, or Kirsten. None of you have spoken tonight, so one of you want to, before Wendy leaves tonight, do one of you want to pose a question?
Hi, thanks Amanda for the sharing.
And
I
Wing's
don't
coming from Singapore, so just so
Yes.
you know.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, so I Google E1, this learning platform. I noticed that it's in traditional Chinese language. Do you have any plan to to make it like more international in English, some other languages?
That's a great question, because at the very beginning, we had the kind of ambition of doing everything in English, using English E1 to teach English global MOOCs, right? But since I mentioned we were born and raised in this EFL context, so the first year, the first iteration, we were launching the idea, wow, okay. The students were like, oh my God, I cannot really take this, because the full English global MOOC was already challenging enough, not to mention the hand we're reaching out to them was again in English. So that'll be why the first and second, even right now, the iteration, we're thinking of practicing translanguaging rather than full English to allow for some room for them to think, for them to make, for them to show their English in mixed styles. That's one of the ways we define translanguaging. So if we are thinking of going international as in a way of full English everything, right now I would say we're still at the stage of translanguaging the materials, especially E1. So 70% of the instructional language coming from teachers at this iteration, we were thinking of doing it in English, but the other 30%, we were still providing support. Support can be coming in so many different manners. Maybe we were giving them English lectures, but the materials in tags can be in Mandarin Chinese, or we can be providing them with some AI self-learning tools so that they can have the translation done, or they can have the transcription done following their own learning pace. So in this case, AI could be coming in to take that 30%, the supportive role there. So yes, in the case of going globalized or internationalized, yeah, we're definitely trying. But I have to say, translanguaging will be the current step we're taking to find more, possibility of recruiting more students. Yes.
Melissa.
Am I answering your question? Yeah.
Wait. You.
Translanguaging.
Yes, just want to say thank you. Yeah.
And Melissa.
Yes. Oh, I was just commenting that translanguaging is just really important for students who are multilingual because it
Yes.
allows them to demonstrate their knowledge in multiple ways. Because if I agree with you, if you just stuck with the English, you would really be isolating many students who could not demonstrate what they know or how they learn in just that one language. So it allows, like from a teacher standpoint, it allows the teacher to tap into all the knowledge of the student.
Yeah, agree. So that's why we were highlighting still this approach of translanguaging to, multilingual, bilingual, or to take still also consider multimodality. So the time they're using AI, they get to still decide text-based or like audio or image-based, just to let them know that you're safe in here. It's okay to learn in your own style of English or translanguaging in general. Thank you.
Anyone else want to jump in that hasn't spoken yet? Last chance.
Hey, Wendy,
Kirsten.
this is Kirsten. Yeah.
And
I have a
tell her
question.
who you are and where you're from.
Yeah, my name is Kirsten Eberts and I am from Indiana. I live in Indiana and I work at Trine University, which is just a small private up in the northeastern part of Indiana. My question is, you talk a lot about the iterative process, and we have a lot of STEM master's programs that we offer to our students. And we have a new one in artificial intelligence. And one of the questions that keep coming up is, how often do we need to be looking at the courses as they're built, as we're building them out? So how often do you think we should be going through that process of, especially with AI, especially with technology, we're fearful that as soon as we get it developed and ready to launch, it's going to be outdated. So how often do you think in the world of AI do we need to be reviewing those courses to make sure they're still current?
That's a great question, because we feel like we are haunted by AI in a way. We need to keep updated enough. So how often should we update it? That depends on how you see it, because we've seen professors, they are giving programs where AI is included, but they still maintain the same focus, maybe on the same AI tool. And but at the same time, they tell students, they tell participants that things out there, they're changing pretty fast. But in this course, or like in this program, we'll be sticking to maybe notebook LM. We are learning from the basic to the advanced one. And then at the same time, they're also taking information about, some new features being introduced to the platform. So that's one way of doing that. The other, you can invite the entire class to join during the way you update the contents there. You don't have to leave the job of updating the contents or the tools to teachers only. I think this can be a co-learning environment. I think students would love to bring their updated info about the resources you introduce to the class, or like the tools you are bringing to the whole class. So by creating the whole thing into a collab, okay, the kind of vibe, then there's no need for you to feel really guilty about, yeah, I'm talking about this, but yesterday I just learned about things are a little bit different right now, because I feel that the whole time. But once you turn this into an open space, I think that will be not the question about frequency, but the question about how much we love to share with each other, the kind of, partnership being built in here. Yeah. Thank you for the question.
Kirsten, that help?
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Umida has a comment or question.
Is the reflection video recording part of the, we make it part of our assessment, but that has a lot to do with culture. I think in our culture, students, they need to know what they should expect at the end of the semester, what they get to expect at the end of this course. So the reason why we're putting this as part of their assessment, so that we make the whole learning plan clear enough for them. But you get to choose to turn the so-called reflection video as some options for them to make to continue their alternative learning, like what I mentioned in the very beginning. Or you can have a lot of different options. open up for them. It can be like reflective writing, okay, reflective video recording, or reflective audio, any kind of multimodal options there. So I guess there's not really like yes or no should be, but depending on what you would love to have your student experience. Thank you for that great question.
Amita, is that good?
Okay, so my question is, first of all, thank you so much for
Oh,
introducing.
that wasn't your question. That was,
Oh.
was that Wing's question?
Yeah.
Okay. Was that satisfactory, Wing?
Yes, thank you.
So I appreciate the it depends answer, because if I had known that answer when I was in New Zealand 23 years ago, I wouldn't have been a fool on national television. I would have been able to say it depends instead of saying blah, 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 blah. When they asked me a question I couldn't answer. It depends. Always, educators all have to know that answer. It depends, because it does depend. There's a longer story there, but I'm sorry. I thought that was Amita's question. Amita, you want to jump in again? I'm sorry.
You're fine. So thank you so much for sharing your experience. I'm wondering if you collect any data for conducting research, and what are the ethical sides of it? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So if we focus back onto DBR research, we did collect data at each and every iteration, survey responses, interview responses with their consent at the very beginning. And the consent can be collected in a way like at the very beginning, they sign up for the course. We have this info open up to them to remind them of the possibility of collecting their responses for research purposes. So that will be also an attempt to try a mixed method rather than focus simply on qualitative data collection or quantitative data collection. And I love how I'm able to get their reflective notes, because you never know what you get to have, from their words of their hearts and their thinking. So I strongly recommend that we should combine the so-called quantitative method with the qualitative one, though it really takes a lot of time to read through those words to, find out the themes there. But that's always the fun part. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want to make a final comment for us tonight? I didn't see you there, Jedi. Oh, maybe she's muted. Jing, you want to make a final comment, Jing? You've been here for 2 hours. Faithfully from China. Everyone's quiet. Okay. Anyone want to make a final thank you? If not, if everyone could.
I'll jump in. I have to say thank you. Thank you so much, Wendy, for your great career, your impact in education with transforming all of those open course into application. Because without people like you, you can have open source content, but if no one use it or recycle it, then it's a waste of energy there. So thanks on behalf of all the students who will learn through your courses. So, and all the great answers that you gave here, especially the one that you share about co-creation, empowering students to be in the classroom and learn with the educator. So thanks for that.
Thank
That's
you.
well said, Karine. And again, if you want to, we'll wave goodbye. If anyone wants to put their camera on and wave. Thank you very much, Wendy. It's good to see you again.
Thank you. Yes, my pleasure.
It's wonderful to have 2 experts with us tonight in the field of open education, coming to us from another country across the big ocean, 12 hours away. So I mean, this is really wonderful, and Randy's really thankful, and Jing's thankful, because they're in China and it's normal hours. They don't have to wake up at 5 in the morning to attend my class. So tonight was a little later start, but for people in China and Korea, they really were appreciative. And I know you've got meetings to go to, but if things come up that you want to share with us, please send me an email, and I'm happy to share with the class, with everybody. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is week 5, part 2, the end, with folks at the Heroes. And we have Heroes from Taiwan. It's the higher education Is that what it stands for? Higher Education Resource? I don't know. Anyhow, thank you very much. Good night.